Good evening and welcome to Storytime with the Rubus. I am being handed the reins for the week. My name is Mitchell. I will be your guest host. I want to start off by thanking Brooklyn, Daniel, and Charlotte, that's alphabetically correct, for making me feel so much a part of their Farmily, and I am happy to be here.
Wait, Farmily? Did you just invent that word? I love it.
I've been using it for a couple years, but I'll take credit.
I thought you misspoke, but then I realized, oh no, that's a real word that you just had.
Me like making wordies.
Yes. So I'm Daniel, y'all know me.
I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Brooklyn.
And I am, like he said, handing over the reins to Mitchell. I have some idea of what's happening, but purposefully not all of it. Please, take it away, good sir.
I plan on talking a little fast because I've got a lot of content, but I will enunciate well, and I'm purposely drawing out my vowels so you can do the 2x speed and still catch on stuff. So, first off, who am I? I'm Mitchell. I like to introduce myself as unimportant if I'm drunk enough. At that point, I'm not going to write your name down. Please don't be offended. I'm drunk on Bud Light. So my first Bonnaroo was 2009. Some friends asked me if they could stay at my place for the trip up, and they were going to some music festival, and I was like, well, what's it all about? So I go and look up a lot of the bands, and let me tell you, I got infatuated with the lineup and was immediately like, okay, let me get a ticket. And so I didn't eat a couple meals and got a ticket.
In 2009, that was your first one?
Yeah, 2009 was my first crew.
What was the big draw to you? What was the big artist that you were like, yes, I'm sold because of them?
It was kind of a three-way tie between Broken Social Scene, Jurassic 5, and oh my god, come on, brain.
That was still kind of like in the jam band days, really.
That was it towards the jam bandy section of things. I think it was MIA. I believe it was MIA.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, wow.
Charlotte and I have been dying to see her for years.
I have a story later about MIA and my introduction to jazz metal, which was a thing. So my first Bonnaroo, I just want to go over how ill-prepared I was. I had relied on a friend of mine to, she said she had an 8-person tent, and there were 6 of us in the car, and we were all going to sleep in the same 8-person tent. About 3 miles from the entrance of Bonnaroo, my buddy's truck broke down, and we were all instructed to pick up what we could carry in. So I carried everything I brought with me, which was a bag chair and my clothes. I did not have a pillow. I did not have a blanket.
How far did you have to walk with all this?
We got about a mile down the road before finally a nice group from Louisiana invited us to hop into the back of their truck bed with all of our stuff. But a detail that I need to go back on is, remember, we were all instructed to carry our own things, and we had to leave certain things behind, like a cooler and stuff like that. So I had meat that was unavailable to me. But my friend, she picked up the 8-person tent, threw it over her shoulder, and I didn't think anything about her 5'2" frame carrying an 8-person tent that easily. So we get down the road quite a bit. We're picked up by this wonderful Louisiana. Shout out to Thunder Mike. If you're out there, I still have your telephone number. I'm sorry I haven't texted you in years.
Thunder Mike, I hope he hears this.
Me too.
People from Louisiana are among the most hospitable. I remember, Charlie, you remember mine your first year?
It was our first year, yeah.
The guys next door to us, if camps have doors or whatever, they cooked us a bunch of stuff. We had
it was a chef from Louisiana.
Yeah, that's right. It was a whole chef, and he was like, "Hey, we're having a celebratory meal for their first night," and he hooked us up with shrimp and gumbo and stuff. Yeah, it was amazing. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so we get about a mile down the road, picked up with the Louisianans. We get inside. We start setting up camp next to them. And that's when my friend Renee pulls out the 8-person glorified tarp. Because I want to point out that her 5'2" frame carried it with ease, which means there were no poles. It was just a giant tarp. Everyone else was smart and had budgeted some money and suddenly was spending $60 on an overpriced tent at the Bonnaroo General Store.
Oh, no.
I made a conscious decision. No, I want to get drunk. I will not buy a tent. So I slept in a bag chair in the sun for the first 2 days, and then it started to rain on Friday because we did show up on Wednesday. So it started to rain on Friday, and my mouth filled up with water. And the Louisiana neighbors were like, "Do you want to move your bag chair under our easy up?" And I was like, "That'd be delightful." And that was my home for the rest of the weekend. I still loved it enough to come back 2011, 13 onwards. I believe this will be my 11th Bonnaroo I get to go to coming up in 2022.
So you didn't go consecutively?
No, 9, 11, and 13 on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolute shit planning. I'm much better now. I have my shit together. I put it in a bag, and I get there, I unpack my shit. So, what do I do each year at Bonnaroo? I'm one of the group leaders at Camp Reddaroo. I talk the most, so I'm kind of like the most vocal part / the face of it. Like, I've been interviewed by the Tennessean for stuff that all I did was show up and help run. I did not run, but, being me, I get credit. I'm a team.
Mitchell, I hate to tell you this, but when like a media person comes to Camp Reddaroo and they see everything going on, you're a human cartoon character. So they're like, yes, we need to talk to this gentleman.
I've literally been in the New York Times because I looked like a cartoon character out there, and they took a picture of me in my costume, and that was my second time in the New York Times.
Wait, do I want to know the first time?
It was at the '96 Olympics, and
yes,
and I looked like Opie, and the Australian reporter that was sitting behind me at women's basketball took my picture, and I got like a 5th-page blurb in the New York Times about the fact that they had just started the Andy Griffith Show's broadcast there. And so I was fresh Opie look-alike. And my grandmother still has a copy of the Australian paper that got mailed to her of me on the front page about meeting Opie at the fucking Olympics. Sorry.
You can say that. It's okay.
Okay. And then that article was mentioned in the New York Times. So that was my first.
I have a quick aside as well. Mm-hmm. You and I were talking at camp or something at our Bonnaroo last year, and we realized that you and I were both at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics on the same day. Because it was the day after the park bombing. Mm-hmm. And we probably walked right by each other when we were 11 years old and didn't know it. Because I went to the old Atlanta Fulton County baseball stadium where the Braves played back in the day to see Korea and the Netherlands play. I don't know who it was. It wasn't the U.S. And you went next door to the track and field, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is crazy, dude. I just always thought that was wild. I just had to bring that up.
I still, one of my fun things to do in life is for Dragon Con, I cosplay as an Olympics spectator from the '96 Olympics, and I've got a VIP badge, a hat full of pins,
Izzy
turf shirt. I've got Izzy on a flag, Izzy little stuffed animals, Izzy keychains, Izzy soccer ball. What Izzy all over the place.
Just walk around where do I find the badminton? I heard Jimmy Carter was going to that one.
I have a map and the itinerary from the Olympic Games, and I will walk up to people at DragonCon, and I'll be like, I know I'm over here, and I'm trying to get to archery. How far is Stone Mountain from here? Can I walk there?
That's amazing.
So I'm going to get back on the Bonnaroo track real quick.
Sorry.
No, you're obviously. Yeah, we're good. So I help run stuff at Camp Reddaroo. I have hosted the games before, where we gave out pit passes to LCD Sound System for a beer pong tournament.
Ooh.
I've whooped many asses at a Dizzy Bat. If you don't know what Dizzy Bat is, go look up some YouTube videos and giggle. The biggest part of Reddaroo these days, though, I'd say, is the beer exchange, which we host on Friday, I think at 11 a.m. I'm not sure. It's a blur for me.
We should give a shout out to Carrie.
Oh, of course. Shout out to Carrie Jackson, who is boots on the ground, our general for the beer exchange. Helped get it going. It actually originally started, there was a man on Reddit who wanted to host a beer exchange and was looking for some place to host it. And because group camping was relatively fresh in 2014, we were like, well, we're going to have a set location, so why not host it here? That day that he had signed up, that we had 14 people show up. I have a Polaroid still of it. He didn't show up. About 7 hours later, after the fact, it was very dark, and this Herculean man carrying the world on his shoulders comes over with one of the biggest fucking igloos you can imagine. And he's like, "Is this where the beer exchange was?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we're all hanging out because it's Mumford and Sons time, i.e., was that Jack Johnson? Yeah, that was Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
So
13,
we didn't go hear banana pancakes. Sorry. We hung out at the campsite, played Dominion, and had this man stumble onto us and be like, I'm 8 hours late. My friend made me take Bud Light, and he was very drunk and got lost in the campsite for about 4 hours, gave up, and then started again when he got a little more sober. Found us, and then literally was like, what's your favorite beer? And asked everybody present, there was about 20 of us, and he had an amalgamous beer from Florida that tasted similar or exactly like your favorite beer, or better, every time. I got introduced to the Florida Cracker because I like Hefeweizens and orange beers of that style.
My favorite is coming in and finding the different sours from all over the country.
Oh, yeah. We've come a long way since that guy's idea, where we now have kiddie pools and designated areas where you can go trade specific types of beers and a lot of vendors. And shout out to Pontoon Brewing. This is actually how we got to know each other. Pontoon Brewing was friends with Repeat, and then we worked together with the Roo Bus to throw a pre-party with Repeat on the Roo Bus, and then Pontoon made a beer with Repeat that year and served it at our beer exchange.
And now there's been 3 different kinds? There was that, and then the one that had the Trippy Rufus, the one with the bus on it last year. Now a new one's coming this year?
2, actually.
2 new ones.
They're going to have the Bonnaroo official beer that's going to be wide circulation in Tennessee, Georgia, and their other markets, and obviously available at Bonnaroo. But they're purposely making a second batch to only be served at the beer exchange this year.
Well, we should let Kevin talk about that since he's on it.
Kevin and I were both at the meeting, but Kevin is definitely the point man on that.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah, it's important to note once again that I am a group leader. I am not the of Reddaroo, and there are so many cogs that are just quiet, and I just talk too much.
I hesitated for a second there because I realized I was probably about to talk about something that wasn't announced yet. We'll let him.
Oh yeah,
do that. Yeah,
Kevin's got something good mixing up.
Yes, Miss Brooklyn.
Oh, I just want to say, it's so phenomenal of how quickly the beer exchange has exploded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to know them when they helped out with the Repeat show, but then we really got to know everybody at Reddaroo because of the beer exchange, basically, because we came out and hung out with you guys for hours on, Friday or Saturday, whatever it is?
The What Podcast episode.
Yes.
That's when I met Dave for the first time, was at a beer exchange. It was great.
We were at the Monkey Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, it's funny because, we came to that podcast recording when they hosted them right next to the Monkey Bar, and we didn't all know each other very well then, but if you go back and think about it, it was all of us here. Lord Taco was there, Dave was there, and now we all know each other so much better now. We've all done mini roos together and such.
I've gotten drunk with all of you.
Yes.
That's how you get intimate with folks.
But seriously, bless you guys, because you put on what is probably the best event that isn't specifically organized by the people who get paid to do Bonnaroo. It is my favorite.
To give you guys a rundown of the beer exchange, bring a 6-pack or more. I bring about 60 beers each year.
Oh, wow.
To trade for other beers, and if you bring at least a 6-pack, we will feed you. And you get to trade the beers with other people exactly like yourself from their breweries and their little necks of the wood, and you get to experience just a world's palate worth of beer in a blistering hour that flies by every time.
Where is the furthest beer that you've had? The beer coming from the furthest way, or whatever.
I still have it. I did not open it. There is I think it's Kenshin, the Japanese beer.
What?
It was at their 100th anniversary, and it was only served at the base of Mount Fuji. And somebody traded me a can of this for one of the original Reddaroo beers, the Mad Tea Party, and I covet it.
Yeah, are you just gonna?
Wow.
Won't it go bad at some point?
Oh, it's probably already bad. I don't give a shit. That's like
as a collector's item.
Yeah. So somebody went to Beer Heaven in Japan and brought me a chunk back.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Okay, I'll buy.
Actually, a beer.
I'll buy you a beer tonight.
Jinx late. No. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some camping tips, which is my next little thing, because if I'm going to have the spotlight, I want to help out some rando Caldricians out there. So a really big tip, and this is not obvious to a lot of people, if you put your car to the east of your tent, or you're easy up more eastward at that point, it will absorb sunlight as it comes over the horizon and give you those crucial hour and a half, 2 hours of extra sleep that you will all need in your hungover rave state.
So let's orient ourselves. If you're sitting at the farm in the campgrounds, if you're looking towards the big cell phone tower, that's west. So the other way, looking towards the what stage?
You want to look away from Centeroo if you are 3rd Avenue and over.
Okay, yes.
If I believe that is correct. So you would be pods 1 through 15. You want to face away from Centeroo, and because you are on the bottom half for 15 and 16 and up, you would want to look at Centeroo and then look left.
So I'm looking at Google Maps right now. So you would look kind of towards where in the Woods is nowadays.
Yeah.
I never remember things by pod numbers.
Another way to remember, and it helped me immensely to figure out the layout of Bonnaroo. If you know what a cornucopia is, like a horn of plenty, look it up. It's a thing.
Fruit of the Loom.
But yeah, the Bonnaroo itself is 2 large cornucopias on top of each other. At the base of one is what stage, and at the base of the other is which. And they are yin and yang faced away from each other, and all the stages come in a loop around off of that cornucopia. And if you look at the campsite, it also expands like a cornucopia in a little semi-spiral like that as well.
I would never have thought to think of it this way, but you're right. Yes.
I was very drunk on Bud Light, and a man pointed it out to me sometime. All right, so back to the tips. You can get them very, very cheap at Walmart or any general store. There are these solar charged lights that you stick in the ground like garden lights. Buy some for like $1 a piece and put them at your tent stakes.
Oh yes, we do that.
Yeah, and put them at your tent stakes, and that way you won't have to make an emergency trip to the medical tent because you gouged your toe off on your tent stake.
Ooh.
That's a very good tip.
Keep your pillow in your car because it will just absorb ambient moisture if it's sitting in your tent, and nobody likes a damp pillow. And if you like a damp pillow, you're a dirty, dirty whore.
That's another. Oh my god, that's another good one because I don't know if you noticed, but like in the middle of the summertime, when you're coming back to your campsite at like 4 a.m. or some ungodly hour, it dews a lot.
Oh yeah, it's because of all of our sweat, and it can't go anywhere, so it just falls back on us.
I've noticed that
Well, that's
when
what
we
it
come
is.
back, like there will be like a layer of moisture all over the bus because like like sometimes you wake up and there's like just that wet mist all over the grass. I guess that's about the time that it lays,
Think about how many people have been dancing for how many hours and how much moisture they have put into the air that doesn't get circulated out and just lands back on us.
You're
seriously what that is. It sounds very weird, but it's because you've got the hot people and the cold air at night, and we're just raining back on ourselves. In the same regard, though, keep your clothes in your car. Any cloth is going to absorb ambient moisture, so pillow and clothes.
Charlotte has a good tip for the clothes thing. Tell them about your bag idea.
Oh, I always put my clothes in. I plan each outfit every day and put it in a gallon Ziploc bag.
So she'll write like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
And
so
don't
that
take it
way
out till it's
you
ready.
don't have to sit there and go, what goes with what am I going to wear today? No, it's just already ready when you pull it out.
That'll keep the moisture out like he's talking about too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My best friend Sarah does that. It's really helpful.
Yes. What's next?
Hydrate or dihydrate. That's pretty self-explanatory. Drink water, you heathens. You and all your candy and Bud Light are all diuretics. You are just draining water out of your body. Please drink water. A helpful tip to keep your cooler cold, freeze water, and that is ice. And then guess what? It's liquid water eventually. Plan time to just walk around and experience all the pods. There is so much art and little shops and things. Like, set aside some time on your weekend to go exploring not Centeroo and just what the campgrounds have to offer in terms of attractions.
I recommend doing that on Tuesday or Wednesday if you come in early.
Oh, yeah.
Because nothing's going on anyway. So just take your time and go, mosey around and see what you can find. Kind of pregame to see where all that stuff's going to be.
Oh yeah, there's Kevin Barnes from Reddaroo. Every Wednesday night he leads or Thursday morning, it has changed, a walk to Shakedown Street for all the newbies, and it's a big train of fun for folks to just go check out what's out there.
And Shakedown Street is like when you come down Bushy Branch and it turns, it goes past that barn that was like the Nashville barn, kind of where you guys used to be at. You keep going that way, and there's it's hard to miss. There's a line of looks selling their wares.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you see a bunch of slushy booths and more pipes than you can imagine, you're there. So this one goes out to all of my procrastinators and lazy people like myself. You can sleep in Monday morning until the Mounties come and wake you up. I have done this every single year. I am the last person awake in my campsite because I'm generally the last to sleep Monday morning. And I literally have been woken up by the Mounties for 7 of the 10 years I've been.
That's kind of sad on Monday morning when you wake up and everything's trashed and half of everybody's gone.
Well, with Camp Reddaroo, I purposely stay behind and help clean up all of our mess and get everything piled up for the folks. Because I've done the clean vibes as well and cleaned up after Bonnaroo.
Oh.
Shout out, if you want to go to Bonnaroo for free, just stay for 2 days later and pick up trash and find a lot of Bud Light on the ground. So, on the subject of Bud Light, do not buy Bud Light from strangers without a test kit.
Oh.
Make sure...
He's not talking about beer.
Oh, I'm talking about inebriation. So, do not go and spend money on these general stores without them showing you that it is real Bud Light, okay? There are easy test kits online. Be smart, be aware. If you want to bring sand to the beach, do not paint your car. Good Lord, don't tell the police that you're on your way to fun. Just, there's plenty of sand already there. Be careful, be safe.
The way that you dress and like stuff that you have on your car is important, especially if you're coming down some of these like big Tennessee interstates, especially coming from Knoxville. I always tell people, just like, don't put anything fancy in your car and don't dress crazy. Just look like you're going to grandma's house for a Sunday barbecue and you're not going to have much of a problem.
You're going to go camp in a national park. They don't know better.
Yeah. It's not their business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. Sadly,
Well,
we are their business, their chattel. That's why I'm warning us. Here's and then this is the last general tip I have for everybody. If you want to be in the pit for a show, go to the left front side of that stage hours early.
But the bees!
The bees, it's worth the sting. Go over there, ask which line, because there will be multiple lines, and if you want to be in line for the headliner, I suggest 5 hours early at the minimum. And I know that sounds extreme, but they cap the numbers, and there's people more in love with that person than you.
Charlie and I talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told us the number one time, but we can't remember. It's close to 1,000 people for the what pit. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be that much, but
I thought it was more than that.
It could be. I don't want to say it because I can't remember exactly. We'll get to the bottom of that and find out one of these days.
Show up early. Same rule for estate sales. If you're not the first there, you're first loser.
Mitchell, was that your last tip?
That was my last newbie tip, correct.
Those were lovely. I wanted to kind of veer off of your itinerary just for a moment because I wanted to plug your IHOV deal. Can you tell me a little bit about that? It's International House of Vinyl, not the other thing that I tried to call it the other.
Nope, it's International House of Vinyl. It is. We have many vaginas and penises in our ranks, but it is not of the vaginas alone. It's International House of Vinyl IHOV. I do a weekly auction there. We have a lot of good sellers. If you like records, come check us out. I started it January of last year. We're a little over 1,600 members at this point in time.
Oh, wow.
Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, come hang out with me. I play Zuck-proof music and sell records, and that's my main job.
So we've had some going because I wanted this to be a good collab with IHOV. So what have we had before? What we got now?
We had Mandrill Land playing, which is some good old classic funk soul. And currently we have my choice of goth pop. This is Tones on Tail. Ooh. The album is pop. Tones on Tail is one of the many offshoots of Bauhaus. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Check out Go or Twist. It's all on YouTube. Great stuff.
I learned so much. I keep joking that I'm going to have to start like a Spotify playlist just of like only your recommendations.
I have a lot of Spotify playlists of recommendations if anybody wants any.
I have a thing.
Yes, Brooklyn.
That I must say.
Yes, tell us.
Okay, this is random, and this is very out of context.
That's very much you.
Okay, so advice. If you are in the dating scene or just looking to meet friends, a good way to get to know that person, make a playlist of your top picks and swap playlists with each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get to know each other.
People
and
have been doing that
Spotify
since-
has a great platform
Yes.
to do that, so.
Oh, more so than cassette tapes back in the day.
I
Don't
have
come at me
so many good cassette
with people's
tapes,
been
though.
doing that forever. No, this is the first time I've ever done it.
You're right. I apologize, Brooklyn.
You know that's how my parents got together, by switching tapes back and forth.
That's fucking brilliant, and we need to keep that
That's why
running.
I'm here.
That's how Charles
We need to keep that trend going.
Y'all, that's how I flirt is playlists.
Oh.
Jesus.
Hey.
What else you got for us?
Okay, so the next segment that I want to go over is some of my favorite shows that I've been to at Bonnaroo. Straight up, let's be honest, Paul McCartney was the best one.
That shouldn't even count because it's so far up.
I know, but it's so goddamn good. 3.5 hours of a Beatle, and every time he got tired, he would just sit down, stroke the ivory, and tell us some magical story. It was great, but, had to get that out of the way.
My favorite was when he told the story about hanging out with Jimi Hendrix, and he played, like, Sgt. Pepper for him.
It was Eric Clapton's concert, I believe.
Was it?
It was Eric Clapton's concert, and Eric Clapton's string broke on his guitar.
Yes.
And he called Jimmy up on stage, and Jimmy was like, if I have to be up here, so do you, Paul. And so somebody in New York, I think it was 74, paid for an Eric Clapton concert and got an Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Paul McCartney show.
Wow.
Right?
I wonder if that's recorded anywhere.
I hope so. It's probably some bootleg tape like we were just talking about.
Yeah. So after Paul...
So my next... There's no particular order to these. These are just ones that are shining moments in my memory. Would have to be Jungle, when I got to hang out with all the groups, handing out pizzas from Pizza Nova.
Oh, yes! That was so fun.
I believe I have everybody written here after looking at many, many Instagram posts. That was the collaboration of Roo Shoot, House of Yes, Reddaroo, Rubus, Supergroup, Wu-Tang Clan, Roo Fitness, Bonnaroo Rooster, Camp Trying to Go to Bed Bonnaroo, and Camp Phantasmagoria.
Yeah, I remember Ron was calling it the Bonnaroo Avengers.
Bonnaroo Bay.
Bonnaroo Bay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Everyone had their own slice of pizza, and they came together.
I got
the most magical moment.
I literally got handed the inflatable for Reddaroo an hour before the show by Jason Hahn, and he was like, we're supposed to decorate this. And I was like, well, wearing it like a hat.
I had to decorate the Bonnaroo Roosters for him.
Jay.
Jay brought his pizza to me. He's like, hey, do that shit that you did with the Roo buses. I was like, shit, okay. So I just drew a little rooster on it.
Beautiful.
I don't know. It was...
See,
I felt important.
Oh, you were. I mean, it's recognizable. The Rubus, that one, and Wu-Tang Clan are the three that I think of. And I only think of Wu-Tang's Clan because they peppered the shit out of that thing with Wu-Tang Clan stickers.
I remember that, yes.
But because I had mine an hour before, and I'm not artistic, my hands do not speak mind, and my mind barely speaks hand. I just wore my pizza inflatable like a hat. And... It was great. So we handed out, I think 35 pizzas, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks again, Ron Higaldo of the Roo Shoot for putting us all together, though. Let's see here.
I'm going to do that again sometime.
Oh, yeah. You just bomb people with free food?
Yes.
110%. That's the way to...
Nothing but positivity can come out of that.
Yes.
Unless you really hate pizza.
How could you?
Fuck those people.
Fuck them. They're ruining the show with their free pizza.
Pizza is a lot like sex. It can be cold, old, not authentically Italian. It's still good.
Exactly. Even Little Caesars.
Look, I'm just saying.
Kaisers.
Look. The people you really want to get with are the people that do put their pineapples on pizza.
Oh, I
Thank
fucks
you.
with some pineapple.
Yes. The most idyllic pizza is pepperoni, pineapple, and mushrooms.
I'm not going to have this debate.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, not sorry. Oh, and bell peppers.
I can
Well,
go with
that's
that.
Brooklyn's perfect pizza.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey. Who else?
Okay, so next up, Nile Rodgers. I got to, thanks to my good friend Kyle Gunderson, I got to dance on the What stage to Nile Rodgers. We found out about 4 songs in. We were already in the pit. They came to him because he had such good energy, and they were like, hey, Nile Rodgers would like for you to join him on the last song on stage, you and a partner. And Kyle turned to me and he was like, I'm alone. Mitchell, would you be my partner? And I went, oh, yes, Kyle.
You must have felt like a god.
I was the most beautiful girl at the ball.
He was the golden guy.
I loved it. And in my brain, I kept thinking to myself, stop dancing. You're going to be on stage and you need to dance. Conserve your energy. And then the next song. And then the next song. And then I remembered that Nile Rodgers wrote literally half of Madonna's Material Girl album. And I then realized, oh yeah, he wrote half of Let's Dance. He wrote Let's Dance by David Bowie. And then they just kept getting good and better and bestest. And I just couldn't stop dancing. And then it was time to go on stage. And I danced even more. And I loved it. And Bonnaroo was just so full of memories like this. Next up, we've got Primus 2011. This is all on...
Primus sucks.
Primus does suck. They are... This is all on YouTube. Go check it out. The stagecraft was over the top. The spaceman with the monkey face and all the animations and the... it was almost like a 3D lithographic card from the 90s. activated on stage, and there was these giant puppeteers and things. And the real reason I mention this is because during the last song, they had about 30 people parachute in, wearing full-body LED costumes and glowing, and they just landed and walked through the crowd like it was nothing. And my poor brain was blown out at that point in time because I was supposed to meet some friends of mine at a tree 3 hours earlier. At a tree.
In the tree.
No, tree. That's really the detail I had to go off
In
of.
a tree.
I walked away from my sister-in-law and my brother, and I was like, I'll be back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then I saw them 11 hours later.
Sounds familiar.
I'm bummed out that I didn't get to see the thing that he did with John Lennon's kid that one year.
I have that as a story on here, too.
Okay. We'll get to that later then.
So, shout out. Sorry, Kayla. That was a terrible year. I literally was supposed to meet them 30 minutes, and then I was just like, I'll be back. And then the Bud Light took me, and I did not come back.
That Bud Light, you gotta watch out for.
You get drunk on Bud Light, and you get in trouble.
It was like that Bill Murray meme. It's like, where have you been? Everywhere.
Next up, I'm going to mention John Prine 2019. That old man just wanted us to have fun. He is smoking a cigarette 9 miles long in heaven right now. And that was one of my most precious memories. It was literally the only picture I took / video was at 2019 was John Prine.
I have a question.
I have an answer. Let's hope they match.
Okay. Did he play In Spite of Ourselves?
He did, and he had Brandy Carlisle come out and sing it with him.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. I hate that I missed that.
It was so good. I left Mac DeMarco throwing Frisbee quesadillas at the audience so I could get a better spot at John Prine.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We messed up. We were at that Odessa show. I've seen him before, and I'm sure we'll see him
like,
again.
No,
but
that
there's no
Odessa
John Prine
show
again.
was like top notch.
It was, but I'll see Odessa again. I won't see John Prine again.
That
That's
was
very
that
true.
was so good. Like one of my favorite concerts of all time.
I would have just loved to go and sit there just to hear In Spite of Ourselves. I love that song so much.
It's so good. He's so good at duets and just
Yes.
generally writing wonderful. It is Illegal Smile by John Prine. It is just one of those wonderful things when you get to sing about stuff above people's heads in an old country song. I actually recently sang that at a wedding a couple months back, and the groom's mother came up to me and asked me, "Who are you? Where are you from? You're singing about Mr. Hoffman, right?" And I was like, "Yep, Bicycle Day." And she goes, "Oh my God." And then she just hung out with me for the rest of the night.
I want to back up to you being a wedding singer. That's news to me.
Oh, no, I wasn't. No, they had karaoke at their wedding, and
Oh,
I sang.
okay.
If there's ever karaoke, I will go.
So it wasn't an Adam Sandler situation.
No. People don't pay me to sing for them yet.
Yet.
All right, so next up is Jack White in 2014, which was just hands down one of the most incredible shows. I recently got my hand on the Vault release from Third Man Records of that show, and it sounds just as magical as it did when I was there.
You told me you plan on hanging on to that vinyl for a little while before selling it?
Just a little bit, yeah. No, I it's too good, and it's honestly surprising my first piece of Bonnaroo vinyl.
Really? What are some other Bonnaroo vinyls?
There's a lot of bootlegs. There's Red Hot Chili Peppers playing in 2012. There is Tove Lo's. I've seen Big Graham's concert as well that somebody put on one. There's actually this gentleman. I'll have to show you later a video. He's got about 25 Bonnaroo records, and he posted a video on iHov going over it. He also does it for holidays, like any mundane holiday. He's just like, check out my 20 Heart records. And that's Valentine's Day, or like the Super Bowl happened, and this man has like 30 friggin' records all about just football teams and shit. It was weird. Okay, getting back to the concerts. Both of the Glass Animal sets were absolutely phenomenal. I loved attending those shows. If you get a chance to see Glass Animals, definitely go do that.
So I saw them the first time. I think it was 2014 or 15. I can't remember now.
I think it was 14.
But I
because they came back in 16.
I missed the second one when they gave them the Witch stage, but I heard so many good things.
Oh, yeah. When that big pineapple came up, Gooey started playing. That's some shit. So I always loved having these big names that I want to go see at the show, but one that was in particular for me, my first Bonnaroo, was MIA. And I went to her show, and she was just so good. And then they had Mastodon start playing on the Witch stage on the What stage behind her as she was at Witch. And I remember her like, those motherfuckers are going pretty hard over there. We just gotta go harder. But my brain had never heard jazz metal until that point in my life, so I was just like moth to the flame over there and witnessed the end of Leviathan.
I was joking that this was one of your core memories, like in that Pixar movie, Inside Out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, this British Jamaican rapper just being completely drowned out by... It was insane. Jurassic 5 was also at my first Bonnaroo in 2009, and that was just an incredible show. I can't recommend their stuff enough. Another, and probably the most vivid memory from me from my first year at Bonnaroo was actually... fucking Kanye West, y'all. He promised us a laser light show that was supposed to start at 12:45, and he was going to play until 3:30. And I planned all my Bud Light. I was very good. I was ready. It was all happening around 12:30, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Kanye's going to blow my fucking brain. Don't call the slave ship. Working this grave shift." I was just fucking was ready, and then it got to be like 1:30, and there was no Kanye, and I, drunk on Bud Light, was just like, well, fuck y'all, bye.
So you didn't even wait at all. You bailed?
I bailed early, left my friends there, was like, I'll catch you, and then left.
That was before my time. I did go to his show in 14, and he did rant. I mean, you would be disappointed.
What a press set.
Yeah.
What a press set.
Yeah, he would. I mean, I guess it would be a disappointment if he didn't do something ridiculous if you went to one of his shows. But when he was actually performing, I was impressed. I hate to say.
I mean, he's got a lot of talent. That's what makes me hate him more.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't know if you guys know the whole story, but he did eventually show up at around 1:50, and he was still supposed to play till 3:30, and he quit the show early at 2:40 and told us to go fuck ourselves and left.
Did he really? I didn't know that part.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I left, and I went to go find one of my favorite concerts ever, Vampire Weekend. I had never heard them before, and I walked up, and I'm literally, by the end of every song, I am singing along with everybody in the crowd, because Blake's got a new face! And I loved it, and it was such good energy, and honestly, that was one of the moments that I knew, like, oh, well, I gotta come back here.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I love early Vampire Weekend. I love them now as a jam band, but, like, the first album is still such a banger.
That's from start to finish, it's perfect. I mean, I used to wake up to, no, I completely fucked that up. What is that song? It's track 4. It's only like, it's like a minute 20, and that used to be my alarm every morning, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, well. So, a good tip for everybody: if you like two bands that are playing at the same stage, but there's a set in between them, get to know that set in between. I have had wonderful bands come across my radar this way. In 2019, I wanted to see Kikigaku Moyo and Princess. They were both at that stage. And I got to know and enjoy Bombino in between.
That's the one you recommended to me, right?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. If you like Madhu Mokhtar or that Alton Gun I shared with you earlier, Bombino is definitely Middle Eastern psychedelic rock. It's good stuff.
I will check that out.
Another one was Cherub and White Denim, and this was 2014, and I got to know and love Omar Soliman. And if you guys are not familiar with Omar, he is a Pakistani wedding singer that fled the country during the Civil War, and he's insane. He just stands on stage and vapes and hypes you up. He's probably telling us to go fuck ourselves. We have no idea what he's saying because it's all, Pakistani. And he has these guys just tearing up an electric harpsichord in the most amazing way. It sounds like a jujuka, like a big calliope. Not the calliope you're thinking. I mean,
different one.
Technically a calliope, but like a Nickelodeon, like one of those big rolling train piano.
You just
music
started
boxes.
using some really old timey terms, and I'm loving them.
They're all the same thing.
Bring a nickel to the Nickelodeon, young man.
Oh yeah, I mean, behind the Jujuka. Go find that song, y'all. So another really fun, weird moment for me was at 2013. I got to catch Weird Al. He was dressed as a big turkey, and then I went over to catch the tail end of ZZ Top because that's where Animal Collective was playing, and I wanted to be in the pit for the Animal Collective show. And I did get to be in the pit, and there was this, and I mentioned the turkey Weird Al because when I got to the pit for Animal Collective, there was a man, or a woman, it was a being, dressed as a big red parrot, and they were just stationary in the pit. They did not move the entire first 3 or 4 songs, and then me and a couple other folks in the pit, we were literally what's wrong with them? Have you seen the parrot move? No, I haven't seen the parrot move. How long has the parrot been here? Parrot was here before me. And it just stood still, and I don't know what it was. I think it was like the fifth song or so. And you know what? Before I spoil that, I'm going to talk about how the start of that concert went.
Oh, yes.
Where Michael Winslow, the Police Academy noise guy,
That was pretty good, actually.
he was on stage as their MC, and he started it off by pointing at a member of the band, and he would go, "Animal Collective," and the band member would scream out, "Collective." So he would just like, "Animal Collective, Animal Collective," and that started up the Post Merryweather Pavilion album, that first song, and then just rolled on from there. But fourth or fifth song, back to the parrot. He starts to dance and move, and he is violently enjoying this song. And then he reaches his big red wing into his mouth, and he pulls out a whole sheet of Bud Light. And he starts tearing off little dots with red parrot heads on them and handing them out to anybody that would take one. But I had to do the 5K the next morning, and I did not drink his Bud Light. I regret it, but I don't regret
We
it.
took you to a bar last night and you had a shot out of a parrot, so did you have some bad flashbacks?
No. It's nothing but warm memories to that weird being in the pit.
Hey, Mitchell, I am going to quickly borrow the episode from you for just a moment, because me and Charlotte had to give a shout out to our Patreons. I think everybody knows the whole deal at this point. We are doing this in order to donate 80% to the Bonnaroo Works Fund, and 20% is going to go to fund some fun stuff at our party. You got any ideas for things that we could do at our party? Giveaways or anything?
I have some ideas, but
Yes.
I don't know if now's
Now,
the
you do
way.
something really clever. I'm going to take a quick rat hole. Like, we've been hanging out with you this weekend, and every time we run into somebody, you do something really special that gives them a great memory. Can you tell it real quick?
I buy Lego shovels in bulk from a man in South Korea. And anytime I see someone with a really good disposition or a great outfit, I walk up and I give them a Lego shovel and I tell them I dig them.
Yes. That's a perfect example. I'm going to find some like giveaways like that to give to everybody that comes to our party. But we're going to let our Patreons decide.
You can do care packages, which are just packages with the word care inside.
That's also not a bad idea. We're going to have a call with our Patreons this coming week where we're going to kind of brainstorm some different things like that. Those of you that are on our list that are Patreons, you should find a thing in your inbox probably by the time this episode releases, honestly. But if not, it'll be a day or two later. But we wanted to thank everybody. You can find it at patreon.com/rebus. And I'm going to get Charlotte to list off our names of our Patreons. I think we might have one new this week. You want to tell everybody, Charlotte?
Okay, sure, absolutely. We've got John Howard, Captain Dan, Lucy Young, Benjamin Wells, Ross McNamara, Kent Summers, Michael Roberts, Randy C., Joshua Winsell, Babs Baker, Madison Hudseko, Scott Hurst, Greg, Eric and Ben Abel,
Yo.
Kristen Straub, Natalie Gaither, Beyond the Hypnotic, that's Jace, Evan Brown, Jay Sanders, Chloe Hannon, and Sean McCarthy.
Yeah.
McCarthy, I'm sorry. It's Natalie Gaucher.
Gaucher?
Shout out to Greg.
We're still trying to get a lot of these pronunciations
she
right.
messages me all the time and tells me how to say her name, and I still get it wrong.
We're working on it, Natalie, I promise.
sorry.
Yeah, we don't have much Cajun in us.
I see you can pronounce Greg well.
Greg, that's a tough one, dude. All right, Mitchell, I'm going to pass you back the reins.
Thank you. All right,
thank
so
you, sir.
we are going to start
Howdy.
the weird. That's my favorite greeting. I don't know how to beam sunshine more. I'm going to start with my weird story time because that's what the Rubus story time
In
is
theory,
about, correct?
yes.
Okay. So I remember the first time that I really realized that Bonnaroo was a safe place. For my experiences when I witnessed this is 2013 coming into Centeroo and I see this big dude. He's not muscular. He's just got like dad keg body, and he's screaming a lot, and he's being held in place by some security guard, and he is just going fucking nuts. And I stare for a little bit, gawk, walk past, go to the food trucks, come back to sit at the picnic tables where he's near. About 15, 20 minutes later, and he's like, this is
He's
just
probably running out of steam.
yeah, he's petering out, man. And he finally, as I sit there eating, about 10 more minutes go by, and the security guard lets go of his arms, and he says, "Are you going to do what you did again?" And the guy goes, "No." And he just let him go.
He's like, okay, you can leave time out now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the security guard was just like, "Man, you are ruining this concert right now." Whatever.
Go have fun. Take care of yourself.
Right. And on that point, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but I want to mention this. Be honest with the medical staff. They don't want to bust you. No cap. They just want to help.
He learned a new phrase today.
I did not learn that. I taught y'all what it meant today.
Oh yeah, that's right.
it's because they
So
don't
I'm
have
capping.
gold caps on their teeth.
I'm capping then.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Captain Crunch.
Yeah. Cap and
God.
crunch. But yeah, back to a serious point. That's right, Mitchell. That like the medical tent people are not going to judge, and you're not getting in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble for anything that you say there.
They're just trying to help, and if you don't tell them the truth, they might give you the wrong Bud Light to help your wrong Bud Light.
Oh.
I've had a friend. She was God and on fire, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my God.
We had to medical evacuate the poor lady because she didn't tell them what she was on, and they gave her something to stop her cardiac arrest, and then she was on something.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no one has ever stared through me before. She's a mommy now. She's wonderful. I know. If you hear this, I won't say your name, but you know who you are. Thank you for having me on your show that time. Okay, so we're gonna talk about The Box. I was not here for this.
So the box with 3 X's at the end.
Oh, yeah. I was not here for this. This was before me in the unruly times when there wasn't a security gate between Cinnaru and outside. It was just one porous border.
This was like the Wild West days. I wish I got to see more of it.
I think from the understanding of this that it was either 2004 or 5 that this happened, but somebody brought 4 10-foot tall particle board pressed wood walls, and they made a strip club just out in camping. And it was called The Box. And there are pictures of this. It is documented. I don't know how. I don't know why. But
I've seen these
shout
photos.
out to them.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how things have come back full circle a little bit. They shut that down. But now, in the past couple of years, we've had kind of like a fun show at the House of Yes when they do like burlesque and stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not to the extent of The Box, but in an artistic way, it's getting closer to that again.
There was the party in the middle of the porta potties over in in the Grove a couple years ago that was bizarre. It was an art installation where you weren't supposed to be able to get into the park, but somebody just broke down a wall of one of the porta potties and then threw a rave in the center.
I've seen videos of this kind of thing. Yeah, it's like the secret rave stage.
Yeah.
Poopers. Yeah.
So their next good story is the year I went to go see the Lennon Claypool Delirium. I was real close. I was wearing this full body Lycra suit we call the stuff of fun mares. It's like Green Man but black, and then there's painted skeletal system in the middle, all in black light and glow in the dark paint, and a lot of funfetti looking Dios de los Muertos designs. And I've got a paper mache mask with the third eye on it and everything, and I am a neon fun mare.
This is the photo that was featured in the New York Times, right?
Yeah. They took a black and white photo, which just what a waste of all that color.
Yeah.
But they took a black and white photo of us that made it into the New York Times, and I was proud of that. So I went to the Lennon Claypool Delirium dressed in this ridiculous outfit, and a storm rolls in, and they evacuate Cinnaru for the first time I've ever experienced it, and a lot of people are freaking out and hiding in their cars, and I am. Well, I was ready for Lennon Claypool Delirium, so Bud Light, and I am up, and I am jubilant, and I am dancing and prancing along and literally telling people, don't worry, death is random and inevitable, and she'll kiss you all individually eventually.
It's either a wonderful idea or a horrible idea.
Oh, I scared so many people. Because I would, walk up to, I saw these girls huddling in their car, and I walked up and knocked on the window, and they, of course, fucking cautiously rolled the window down, and I said this to them, and they go, okay.
Don't worry, it's all wonderful. We're all gonna die.
Don't hide now. Death will find you anyways.
Oh my god.
So everything got thrown off for the schedule for the rest of the day, and that was the same year David Bowie passed, and we went to because he died in January or February that year. So we went to we were going to the planned David Bowie dance party, and
also House of Yes.
That was not House of Yes.
It wasn't?
No. That was before they came.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to we were scheduled to go to the well, not scheduled, but we were going to be going to the David Bowie dance party, and I send my best friend in, and I go to the bathroom, and I come back, and she's standing outside, and she's like, I don't know what that was. That's not the David Bowie dance along. There was a lot of farting, and there is David Bowie. And I go, what? And I go inside, and it's the Labyrinth. Every year at Bonnaroo, somewhere, they show Labyrinth, and people bring their own whoopee cushion, and they fart along to the movie. And you know, the swamp obviously has a lot of farts.
The Bog of Eternal Stench.
Yeah, the Bog of Eternal Stench has a lot of farts in it, but you would be very surprised by the amount of fart noises in that movie. Like, Jim Henson was just all over the place. And at Bonnaroo, they literally have a little count keeping track of exactly how many farts and which fart we're at.
How have I never known about this?
Well, this is the second time I attended it, and I did not want to this year. Because literally, I was trying to go show up for the David Bowie dance party, and I'll never forget her face when she's like, "That's not a dance party." I don't know what it is. It's dark. It's cold. There's a lot of farting.
It's a fart party,
right? But the last year at Bonnaroo 2019, they showed the Labyrinth and had a fart along, but it was alongside the House of Yes, and they acted it out.
That's what I was thinking about.
And they had folks in full body lycra suits that matched the background, so that they could give the illusion of floating like the guitar to the David Bowie person and stuff like that. And at some point in time, when he has the guitar and he's starting you remind me of the child. Which child? The child with the voodoo. Who do you do? And the folks in the lycra suits turn around, and that's when you find out that they have assless lycra suits. So you just see floating twerking asses next to David Bowie.
I don't know why you wouldn't see that normally at Bonnaroo.
Well, you know, it's not everybody is Johnny Cash eating cake in a bush high. And if you don't know what that is, you should go ahead and Google it, get a little delight in your day. But look around 3 a.m. at the food court if you're at Bonnaroo, and you will most definitely see some wood finger deep in some food that they were not prepared for.
It also looks like man inventing fire for the first time.
It's so good. It's such a good picture. It's such a good feeling. Like, if you better hope that some point in your life you stop and you look at yourself and you go, man, I am Johnny Cake. Sorry,
Johnny Cake!
Johnny Cash eating cake in a bush high.
Johnny Cake eating some cash.
Yeah, that's what's probably going to happen in my brain. I'm at like 2 years from now, I'm like, oh shit, I'm Johnny Cake. Let's see here. Next up, we have so those full body costumes, the fun mirrors I was talking about. I actually we got featured on At Midnight. The Nerdist, I can't remember his name.
Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, Chris Hardwick. He featured us on At Midnight when he talked about Bonnaroo, because he's from Tennessee, and he made fun of us and said, like, where do you keep your drugs? You don't have any pockets. Man, some people take a lot of meth. There really is somebody for everybody. And it just ragged on us. Well, he came the following year to the comedy tent, and we showed up dressed in those costumes, and he actually called us up to the stage and talked to us, and I was like, you ragged on us, and he was like, I did, didn't I? And it was fun. I think Reading Rainbow.
What? LeVar Burton?
LeVar Burton was on that At Midnight. So there's literally like this 4 seconds of my 15 seconds of fame where it's my picture next to LeVar Burton.
That's a great claim to fame. You were with him and Geordie LaForge. He is a Renaissance man. He's done a little bit of everything.
He's so nice.
Yeah, you're on a good roll here, but I want to interject one thing. You're talking about like At Midnight doing the Bonnaroo gig. The best one that I remember is when Conan O'Brien sent Triumph the Insult Comic Dog the year that Springsteen played, because there was connection there, because like Max Weinberg was his drummer and he's in the E Street Band. So this wonderful 5-minute segment where he was like going on around and like making fun of all the hippies and everything, telling them they stink. And like Max Weinberg was naked in a tent, and he ran into Centeroo naked to go play a show with Springsteen.
Jesus,
go look that up. There's this lovable part at the end where like the guy that's Triumph's puppeteer or whatever, he's on the rail in the pit, and like Springsteen goes to sing a song with the dog. It was wonderful. Anyway, I just had to digress.
Oh yeah, no. That reminds me, my favorite comedy that I ever saw out there was actually Zach Galifianakis. I saw him in 2009, and that was still in his piano playing portion of his life. And I will never forget, he stopped playing the piano, stood up, walked over to this lady in the front row, and he was like, tell us a joke. And he like awkwardly like mic'd her in the cheek, like, tell us a joke. And she goes, and she starts to tell a joke. And then he literally goes, shut the fuck up, I'm the funny man. And everybody busts out laughing, and I cannot shake the image of how uncomfortable she was.
Oh my God.
But it was so funny. Like, I would not want to be her in that moment, but damn, was it hilarious. All right, so that's a little bit of stories there. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Bonnaroo for me every year is Music Christmas. Getting to know the undercard, finding new things. Every year somebody does the Lord's work over on the Reddit subreddit for Bonnaroo. This year, the user that did it, this is camel capped, which means the beginning of each word is capitalized. So the T, the M, and the I, and the R. The Man in Rags. Find that user. Look him up in Bonnaroo. He broke down the entire lineup by genre, and it is incredible the ability to just go through and look at stuff you already like and find new things. And you better go exploring. There is so much wealth in the undercard every single year, and my favorite concert almost every year is somebody that I did not know until the lineup dropped. Next up, I've got a couple gems that I want to point out for you guys. I went over some of these whenever the lineup dropped, but I just have a couple things for each day at Bonnaroo this year that I think y'all should definitely check out, and I want to mention them again. On Thursday, the Sons of Kemet and the Dip.
So as a kid, you got me on them. I listened to some of their stuff on one of these playlists, and I really dug that a lot.
Oh yeah, that's the members from the Comet is Coming. If anybody saw them in 2019, that was a throwdown. That was so good.
And the Dip, I think, is right up Brooklyn's alley with this kind of like bluesy rock kind of sound. Yeah,
it's good. It's good. On Friday, Disclosure.
My man, can you get in the pit with me for that?
I can try, but depends on how long that line is. I do not like to meander for most of my day in a line. I'll be honest.
Disclosure is probably my number 2 of the whole festival. I am so excited to see them. I've been dying to see them for years. I'm ready to rage.
Their show at Bonnaroo in I think 2014 was incredible.
Yeah, and I missed that. I've never seen them live, and they're like a big influence for the DJ stuff I'm doing. So yeah, I'm ready to party.
Next up is Goose. If you're not familiar with Goose is incredible. They're like a soul jazz jam band. Kind of like Lettuce, a little bit like String Cheese Incident, but way more. How do I word this? It's like the house band at a really cool soul jazz place in the 70s.
Oh, yes.
Jam band is kind of how I would describe them. Like Shenanigans Nightclub is incredible. Check the whole album out.
What's the name of that new song you had us listen to last night, Charlotte?
I think it's Born, maybe?
Born?
I'd have to look it up. It starts with a B.
Okay. We did listen to it, and I dug it. It was good.
I absolutely love it, but it doesn't sound like Goose that much
really?
to me.
Well, that's good. They need to vary it up a little bit.
They're
but
chameleons
I love it.
in that regard. Like each album has a very different flavor at times.
I am a little surprised at the next name that you have on your list here. For
Sin Wagon, man. The Chicks. I have to tell you, Rick Rubin knows what the hell he's doing, and Rick Rubin is producing the Chicks these days, and they are talented, and they are going to throw a hell of a show.
They do a good show. Charlotte and I saw them about 5 or 6 years ago, I
Yeah.
guess, at the Bridgestone Arena when they had one comeback tour, and man, I'll give it up to them. They're extremely talented, so I am excited to see their show.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the worst day ever.
What?
Saturday. I say that in complete capriciousness. It is going to be so much triage for me whenever the schedule actually comes out.
You have a good problem to have.
I know. So Saturday, I'm just going to run through them. I'm not even going to comment on anything in particular besides 100 Gex. Because I like energy vampirism, and it's like... somebody screaming at you through a GameCube is what somebody told me.
I said it was an 8-year-old screaming at you through an Atari.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 100 Gex, I'm going to be at that show because energy vampirism, and there's going to be some weird, cool energy there.
I'm going to at least stop by.
All right, so running through the rest of these, we got Billy Strings, Mark Ribier, Femi Kuti, which is the son of Fela Kuti, if you like Afro future funk, like big band disco, Ludacris, Black Tiger Sex Machine, Judah and the Lion, and way too many others. I'm really not looking forward to how much I'm going to have to cut people out that day.
Is Flume playing that day on Saturday?
I think so.
You're going to have to add that to your list. That's going to be a fun show.
I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid them.
Yeah.
If I understand soundscapes and the other.
Just be prepared. That's going to be a funky EDM show. I'm so excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Also on Saturday is the 5K. Come on, y'all. Come do a fucking 5K. You will have so much clout Saturday night when all these babies are tired and you're like, oh no, do you have to run a 5K too? No, just me. And it's fun. You don't have to run it. You just have a leisurely walk. You get something for your entry.
It is very fun because like a lot of people wear costumes, and there will be different things that happen on the route where people are like trolling you in a fun way, like shooting you with water guns or trying to distract you with something ridiculous or whatever. I haven't done it in a while because I didn't think I've had the energy, but you have kind of gotten me talked into it. I'm running a little bit, getting ready. I think I might try to do it.
It's really fun. Speaking of the costumes, in 2013, shout out to Zoo for being a bitch. He was supposed to be my running mate during the whole thing. I bought him a Mitt Romney mask, and I had an Obama mask. We were going to hold hands and jog the whole time, but his bitch ass slept in and didn't do it.
They do a giveaway, tickets for the next year for the best costume.
Mm-hmm.
I ran next to the guy that won it one year. He was Gumby. He had on a full suit.
That was 2013.
I think it was. Yes. Wait,
I was Obama that year, and I saw Gumby.
Okay, that Gumby got the tickets for 2014.
I have photos of Gumby.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looked so hot. I also remember there was this one man wearing a shirt that said, "I'm your pace, keep up with me." And he was like 60, 70, did not look like he was in great shape, but he was the pace. And every time we got behind him, I was like, all right, old man, no. All right, jogging ahead.
Do you remember there was a bald guy that had like a Starfleet uniform and he was Captain Picard?
Yes. There's so many good costumes that year.
I think he got runner-up. I can't remember.
I know that Last Place also got something that year.
They did?
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of them. Okay, we can go on about that all day. You got Sunday to get through.
Oh, yeah. Sunday, Herbie motherfucking Hancock, y'all. He is secretly the biggest name on that entire lineup.
He has gotten Brooklyn hyped about Herbie.
It's going to be good.
The herb.
The Herb?
The Herb.
I got the herb.
Come for the Herbie, stay for the Hancock.
Oh.
Let's see here. Lettuce is another really great funk band that you should check out.
I like them. I'm going to go to that.
Oh, yeah. They're so good. As a matter of fact, if you're a jazz fan, Lettuce does this beautiful version of Miles Davis's Bitches Brew, and their version is called Witches Stew.
Yeah.
And it is very good if you enjoy jazz. Next up, I've got Sierra Farrell. If you're not familiar with her, she is just like the perfect country pop lady. She reminds me of like flowers in a garden.
Yeah, that's what Charlotte was recommending last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like her.
She's so good. I missed the boat on her last album, and now it goes for like $120. Which,
wow.
Taj Sultana.
I'm going to be there for that. I'm so excited for them.
They are incredible. They are sexy. Like Prince is sexy. The same raw energy of way too much talent to play all those instruments by themselves, make all that noise. Just
I missed their show the first time they came around the roof a number of years ago. Everything blends together now. And their sound sounds a lot different now than it did back then. Back then it was kind of like the one-person band were using a lot of loops and stuff, but now it's a lot more layered and complex. I'm really excited to see this live.
Oh, yeah. And then Tierra Whack. If you're not familiar with Tierra Whack, got a job, gotta do it. She is super good. She's a rapper that has mad game. She spits fire. That's kind of it. It's a lot more than that, but I tried to keep that one a little short.
You're gonna have to go stop by Rez on Sunday. We'll get to see Rez at in Okeechobee here a week after next.
Same story with Flume, where I'm pretty positive I'm not going to be able to avoid Rez.
That's true.
Because that's just one of those shows that's like you can shit in the porta potties out in the boonies and still be at the Rez.
No,
show.
I'm going to bet that you could avoid Rez Sunday at Bonnaroo, because what I would be willing to put $5 on is Rez is going to be the last headliner on the other stage, and it will overlap a little bit with Stevie. Yeah, so you don't want to miss any of Stevie.
Yeah, no.
So I think we're going to have to go see Rez in Okeechobee here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. The next line just says dad jokes here.
Listen, Mitchell has been staying at our house for the weekend from Atlanta, staying here in Huntsville with us, and you have such a charming way of making friends. You tell them horrible, offensive jokes.
Do you know why you can't... Oh, wait, no, she said PG-13.
That's okay, go for it.
Do you know why you can't trick an aborted fetus? Because it wasn't born yesterday.
That's a terrible joke, but like it's still rather tame by your standards.
Oh no, I've got some terrible jokes.
Maybe not the most terrible ones.
I'm practicing to be a dad. I'm not a dad yet, so these are all faux pas.
Those are my favorites. Those kind of things. All right, I want to plug you again. You have been doing wonderful work over at IHOV. We talked about this a little earlier, but just to follow up, where can people find more about that?
On Facebook, I run a group called IHOV, International House of Vinyl. Come check us out. I do a live show every Wednesday night. It's an auction, but most of the time I just pick a lot of really good Zuck-proof music that you wouldn't hear on your day-to-day. I go and kiss a lot of frogs so that I could bring y'all the best princes.
We did that a little bit today. I should give them a shout out. We went to Vertical House Records here in Huntsville. I took you over there for the first time, and I think you might have a sale thing coming up.
Yeah. He invited me to be a vendor at their event in October, and I will come back.
Yes. Yes, shout out to them because I was talking with them about possibly bringing the Rubus out to Free Record Store Day in April. So I think if we get a couple of details worked out, we will have it over there at Low Mill for that. It's like a Saturday towards the end of April. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we get closer. But we have been getting the Rubus out of hibernation. Charlotte and I have been washing it. We got it about ready to run. And I think we will have it at a local event here in the Huntsville area if everybody wants to come hang with us and come sign it. But yeah, Low Mill for Record Store Day sounds like a good goal. So I think we'll do that. Probably take it over to Campus 805 sometime too, don't you think, Brooklyn?
Yes.
Yes, she was in mid-yawn on that.
There's, I believe there's weekly recommendations y'all do each time. And I've got a little list of them here.
Oh, you have some recommendations?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm doing the spectrum. You guys handed me the mic.
Okay.
So first off, we got films. We got films, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and culture yourselves, go see Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, my brother. Okay, that's one of my favorite films of all time.
That is a feast for the eyes.
I went to go see it on a giant screen in like 4K. Like even seeing it on like a big TV at the house is not nearly enough.
Keep talking dirty to me, Dan. It's so good.
Okay, all right. You want to keep getting nasty?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in film history is when he's at the well and you see the mirage come out of the distance, and you find out like, oh, this is real dude. He's like, oh crap, I'm gonna get shot for drinking out of this. The way that it's set up is like, how did they do that back in like when was that made? The 50s?
That was I think that was late 50s or early 60s, and it's just like. It looks like a 4K film shot today.
Yeah.
Like, it's so gorgeous. And the color saturation, the hues, like, y'all, it's a feast.
Narratively, it gets me, too, because I love these stories of, like, people going to, like, other places with other cultures that they aren't really fully aware of and, like, finding themselves. It's another reason I love, like, that Wes Anderson movie, The Darjeeling Limited. I mean, there's a lot of other context that you can go into with those kind of stories about appropriating, and I don't think those arguments would be entirely wrong, but I still love learning from other cultures. And I think that movie is one of the best at kind of putting that into a real, well, it was a real story. It really happened for the most part. But it's the best way of telling that story.
Did you ever see Lost in Translation with Bill Murray?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
also a
that's another
great one.
one.
Yes, yes. Did you have any others?
Oh, yeah, no, I was doing the whole spectrum here. So next up, TV series. I'm going to suggest that you watch Pete and Pete. There are way more rock stars in that than you realize.
The Nickelodeon show.
The Nickelodeon show with Petunia, who dances, and Artie, the strongest man in the world, whose weakness is the whammy bar on a guitar. So next up, Trigun. It's an old anime from the 90s. It is the goofiest, silliest thing. Love and peace! It is great. It is, I got a lot of Vash the Stampede in me. Next up, we're going to do music suggestions. I'm just taking the oxygen. Do y'all have any TV suggestions?
I gave a shout out to Peacemaker last week. I still haven't watched the final 2 episodes. I think I might do that Monday. I have a quick suggestion on my end. Is it okay if I give a quick video game suggestion?
No, it's your podcast.
Oh, well. They did an update for Cyberpunk 2077, and it's almost entirely a new game. Everything is stable, works fantastic, and I played it the first time around, did all the story stuff. Now I'm going back and doing all the side stuff, and I have re-fallen in love with that game. It is so fun, especially now that it is updated and quote-unquote fixed. Anyway, that's mine. Did anybody have a suggestion for anything? Here comes Brooklyn.
Dollface on Hulu. It's on its 2nd season.
Kat Dennings.
Yes.
She
There's
saw
one
it.
episode where they go to a music festival, and there's one episode where all the girls look at their vision boards that they did in college, and one of the girls, it was just a bunch of music festivals, and you could see the Bonnaroo Arch on her vision board, and I screamed.
There was a shout out to Bonnaroo on Orange is the New Black, like some years ago. Like, one of the girls said that something crazy happened in the field when she was in the Bonnaroo. I can't remember exactly what was said. Do you remember?
Yeah, but we shouldn't repeat it on
We
this
can't repeat that?
podcast.
Oh, okay. Charlotte, what's your recommendation?
Well, I don't know if I would recommend this necessarily, but I've been watching it, and once I start watching something, I can't really stop watching it.
She binges.
Yeah. But Bel Air, which is
Oh.
If Fresh Prince was a drama.
It's actually really good, guys.
I won't give any spoilers, but Jeffrey has just had someone murdered.
Yeah.
What?
It goes hard.
That's a spoiler.
It goes very hard.
So, yeah. That's how it's going.
I can't remember the actor's name that plays like this version of Will Smith, but like he is good. He's like very charismatic in the same way that Will Smith was in the 90s or whatever. And it's still like sometimes funny, and he's like still the same goofball, but like it puts him in far more dramatic situations as if it was like some prestige drama. And I thought it was going to be silly. It's really good.
Oh, I will say that the kid that's playing quote unquote Will Smith, he's fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, he really is good. I will say that. But I don't know if it's really that great of a show or if I'm just feeling the nostalgia.
No, well, the first episode has a lot of callbacks.
The
but
first
it's not-
episode was good. I was a little disappointed with the future episodes that I've watched.
I've been liking it. Anyways, that's everybody else's.
Okay.
Did you have some others, Mitchell?
Of course, up to the whole gamut.
Oh,
All right,
let's go.
so next up we got music suggestions for everybody. Echo and the Bunnymen, the album Ocean Rain. Tatsuro Yamashita, the album For You. Tones on Tails, the album Pop. Those 3 wide spectrums, got some good stuff in there. And then the last thing that I'm going to share with y'all is poetry, because no one ever makes you go do poetry.
Yes! You have one of yours for us?
I could, but I was honestly going to suggest other folks' stuff. Check out The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. The same cup you now drink your mirth in was once burned in the kiln of your misery. For you can only hold as much joy as sorrow has carved out of you. Beautiful stuff. Closest thing I have to a religious text. Second up, Fernando Pessoa. He is a Portuguese poet. When he died, he was the #1 author of all of Portugal. And then they found out that he was also the 5th, 6th, and 8th best-selling artist because he wrote under nom de plumes because he couldn't get enough. Every day, ships leave ports and they do not arrive anywhere that does not know suffering. And then last, I have Stanley Kunitz. Stanley Kunitz, he passed away. He was the poet laureate at the age of 96. And at 100, he wrote this beautiful, beautiful poem called Touch Me. And what a mighty roar comes from such a small machine as the cricket sings his song across the field. What moves the body? Desire, desire, desire. I can't wait to make y'all all a part of my Farmily. And
Farmily.
Thank y'all so much for having me in your little slice of heaven.
Yes, Mitchell, you do this so well for everybody that you meet. You're a ray of sunshine for everybody with your little like Lego shovels that you give them and your ridiculous jokes or whatever. I always say this at the end of every episode, but so I think you're one of the best representations of this. So can you sign us off?
Y'all get out there and radiate some positivity. Make sunshine blast out your asshole and into other people's eye beams.
Yay! Thank you. All right, see you guys next week.
Bye.